We're taking a look at a framework that absolutely shatters our current understanding of global power, wealth, and really the very nature of human value. We're unpacking a pretty mind-bending piece by Benoit Nouni-Lapierre titled Metathesis of Civilizational Order. Now, don't let that dense academic title intimidate you. What we're really talking about here is the blueprint for a trans-global techno-social assemblage. Basically, it's an entirely new planetary operating system that's being built right under our feet as we speak. And the stakes? Well, they literally could not be higher. We are talking about the greatest upgrade, or potentially the greatest trap, in human civilization since the Industrial Revolution.
Okay, let's dive into this. The core thesis of Nouni-Lapierre's work can basically be summarized like this. Money becomes code, identity becomes infrastructure, citizenship becomes an access protocol, and governance becomes an operating system. So what does this all mean for us? It means we're entering an era where the old political economy of land, oil, and paper money is being entirely replaced by a flow-flux regime. In this new world, data isn't just more valuable than money, data is the actual precondition for money. It's the primordial currency. Think about the industrial age. Back then, wealth was static, right? You had factories, physical borders, stacks of paper money. In that era, capital commanded physical labor. If you had money, you hired physical muscles to build physical things. But now, in the digital token age, we move into cloud computation, identity layers, and programmable tokens. We're transitioning from static wealth to kinetic data. Capital doesn't just command labor anymore, it commands behavior. Every move you make, every biometric signal, every educational credential, it all becomes part of an integrated, automated global ledger. Your value is now your total programmable profile.
Section 1. The New Planetary Triangulation, Building the Global Machine. To really wrap our heads around this new machine, we've got to stop looking at major global players as competing nation-states and instead view them as interconnected organs of a single planetary body. The first organ is the United States bloc, acting as the shield and the brain. In this framework, America isn't just a republic anymore. It's a military, financial, cloud hardware stock. Its power is deeply embedded in semiconductor design, AI command, and quantum-secured defense. So the US provides the computational skeleton and the security architecture of the world. It's the hardware fortress that secures the global ledger, making sure the planetary grid stays resilient against disruption. It's the processor and the ultimate strategic defense layer.
The second major organ is China, which functions as the autonomic nervous system of the planet. If the American bloc thinks in clouds, chips, and financial abstraction, well, the Chinese bloc thinks in corridors, automated logistics, and robotic continuity. The brilliant insight here is that China's geopolitical genius is distribution. They are essentially turning the planet into one giant Amazon fulfillment center. Through automated Belt and Road logistics, smart ports, and drone distribution, China forms the circulatory system that seamlessly moves goods, code, and physical infrastructure all across the globe.
And that brings us to the third player, Africa, acting as the demographic engine. Now, a lot of outdated geopolitical models treat Africa as a passive periphery or just a source of raw labor. But this framework insists that African youth are the vital human muscle and the living demographic operating system of the 21st century. This is the new factory force, the mobile money civilization, and the site of immense demographic vertical thrust. Africa is the living developmental frontier where the American defense cloud stack and the Chinese automation stack actually meet, collide, and synthesize.
Section 2. The Digital Token Economy, Navigating the Matrix.
So we have this massive global machine built, the brain, the nervous system, and the engine. But how do we, actually live inside this matrix? Central to this new existence is programmable currency. Now, this isn't just swiping a credit card. It's money acting as executable logic. Imagine your money literally judging your purchases. Crazy, right? In this era, every single transaction you make becomes a behavior-modulating data point. When you buy something, access a service, or travel, the programmable token evaluates your trustworthiness, your environmental impact, and your social contribution, all at once. Money isn't a neutral medium of exchange anymore. It has built-in rules. But here's what's truly fascinating about this. Look at the concept of neoculturation. Because this system isn't just being imposed top-down, it's actively being adapted from the bottom up. Neoculturation is how people, specifically African youth, in this framework, merge American cloud tools, Chinese hardware, and local indigenous knowledge to create totally new hybrid systems. It's solar power paired with mobile money. It's AI tutoring running on local community networks. They're creating a really unique post-colonial operating system where technology is bent and shaped by youthful improvisation and local necessity. Section 3. The Crossroads. Functional utopia or cyber-feudal cage. Now that this massive planetary machine is built, we really have to ask the critical question: who does it actually serve? Let's look at Universal Basic Income, or UBI, as the perfect example of this crossroads. Because under programmable money, UBI can go one of two very different ways. On the left side, we have the negative model, the conditional leash. This is a pretty dark path of algorithmic biopolitics and telemetric coloniality, where your basic survival is tied to opaque scoring, conditional obedience, and constant algorithmic suspicion. Step out of line, your wallet just turns off. But on the right side, we have the positive model, the developmental floor. In this path, UBI is a stable digital allocation that provides actual dignity, acting as a bridge to skill training and tokenized citizenship. It frees human potential rather than caging it. As we can see mapped out here, the exact same technological tools can lead to entirely opposite realities. Under a cyber-feudal dependency, a digital passport tracks dissidents and enforces compliance, ESG scoring is used for top-down performative control, and your data is just an extractive surface for corporate AI. But under developmental sovereignty, that exact same digital passport can be used to seamlessly prove your skills and contributions across borders. ESG scoring can incentivize real environmental regeneration, and data ownership means local communities actually co-author the operating system. We're impartially looking at the architecture here. The tools themselves are completely neutral, but their application determines whether humanity is trapped as raw material or elevated to unprecedented abundance. Section 4. The post-colonial insurgency, refusal and re-engineering. So how do we ensure we land on the side of abundance and not in the cyber cage? The source argues the resolution lies in a post-colonial insurgency, what it calls a verbokinetic insurgency. Now, to be clear, this isn't about armed conflict. It's all about data sovereignty and civilian constitutional constraints. Step 1 is to maintain an ontological exterior. You absolutely have to anchor your life in local trust, faith, and physical, real-world communities that exist outside the digital matrix. Step 2 is protocol resistance. If the scoring is unjust, people will naturally build informal economies, hack the system, or just flat out refuse it. And step 3 is installing trans-objective sovereignty. This means creating local, cooperative digital ledgers. It means demanding algorithmic accountability so the rules of the system are actually transparent and fair. It all ultimately boils down to this crucial point. The safest system is not the most controlling system. The safest system is the most legitimate system. Any planetary operating system that humiliates people or treats them as mere data points will inevitably produce countersystems, black markets, and resistance. True stability in this digital token age requires shared ownership. The architects of this planetary stock cannot just extract, they must ensure that the individuals participating in it are dignified and empowered. Which leaves us with this final provocative thought. The future is programmable. The data will flow. AI will govern more and more processes. That is happening. But who programs the programmers? Are we going to allow ourselves to be raw material for a cyber-feudal cage, or will we demand developmental sovereignty and build a functional utopia? This is the greatest civilizational upgrade since the Industrial Revolution, and your role in it is being written right now. Think about that as you navigate the new planetary operating system. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.